So we've got another good question. It's so interesting that both speakers are doing work to increase or improve support, but in quite different ways. How much is studying social work about learning how it is normally done now, or about seeing how to change support?
Good question. I mean, I think, Cath, I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I think we do teach statutory frameworks and the law. We teach the how it is now.
Yeah, we have to.
But we very much do showcase emerging and collaborative practice. I mean, there are many examples of fantastic practice in the UK and internationally, and we definitely showcase that in our teaching as well. So yeah, there's a framework that's sort of fixed, but the interpretation of the framework and how we work within it is definitely not. And I think, I mean, we've got Yad as well, and with her, you know, we actually are very unusual here at Lancaster that we actually also have innovation within our own team. So we actually Yad runs her own family support project. So we also can share real life details, Yad, of actual doing things differently and getting things to, you know, keeping families out, preserving family relationships and keeping families out of care in the justice system.
I like what you just said there about having a framework, but using it a different way. You don't necessarily need to follow it. What do you think, Cath?
Well, I think as well, we've got to remember that what underpins all of the work is wanting to help and support people. And it's, you know, we've got to really, I'm always quite mindful and try to reflect on it. And I don't always achieve it, especially actually when I've been fighting for mental health support for young people. It's not useful actually to have this is what it is and this is what we're fighting against. Actually, it's about having the same common goal, which is always trying to help everybody and move stuff forward. So I think, you know, I hope that comes through in our practice, in that, yeah, it's really important. If you're going to train to be a social worker, you need to know the law, you need to know about human rights, you need to know what the role of a social worker is, assessments, you know, supervision, taking notes, there's all those things, good communication, they're so important. And then you've also got to know when it's right to fight and to stand up and say, I know you're doing your best. So in my project with the choir, you know, I was really devastated at the lack of support for young people. I mean, even with my own son, struggling to get any psychological support for him because of where we lived, which was outside of Manchester. It was all really, really tricky. But I knew that the way to go was not to tell, you know, CAMHS how rubbish they were and that they need to step up and sort that out. It's to say, right, what can we do together? You know, you've got me here ready to advocate. And you know, at that point I was lucky, I had the ear of you know, sort of chief of police and the mayor in Manchester, because they were desperate to know what they could do to support this community that they were suddenly found, and they wanted to hear from people with lived experience. And I consistently said, we're not going to moan, we have to say, right, we want the same thing and let's do that together. So I hope that that's part of what we say at the university, is there are times to stand up, but you do it in a way which recognises that we've all got a common goal, and that is to make things better.
Great answers.